Who would have thunk it at the beginning of the year that the Lakers would not even make the playoffs in the 21-22 season?
Hey guys, this is Dominique Wilkins.
Hey, this is Sean Kemp.
This is Gary Payton.
Hey, this is Pau Gasol.
NBA fans, what's up? This is Vince Carter here.
Hey, what's up? This is Matt Barnes. If you're an old school NBA fan like I am, make sure you check out the Basketball Time Machine with my man Sean David.
Hey folks, how's it going? Welcome back to the Basketball Time Machine. My name is Sean David. Thanks for tuning in. Let's talk some NBA basketball. Now, if you follow my show on a regular basis, then you know that I only cover old school NBA basketball. But because there are certain things in the current NBA that kind of got me interested or rubbed me the wrong way or whatever you want to call it, I wanted to do a different kind of episode this time. So I want to talk about the Los Angeles Lakers and why they missed the playoffs. But before we dive into it, let me ask you guys for a small favor. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe to the channel and click the notifications button so you always get notified once I upload a new video. Alright, enough said, let's dive right into it. Yes, as I said in the beginning of the video, the Los Angeles Lakers missed the playoffs. And if I can recall correctly, before the season started, everybody was so sure that the Lakers at least would make the finals, and many people believed that the Los Angeles Lakers would win an NBA title. And I gotta be honest, I was also a person that, I didn't wish it for the Lakers, but I thought, okay, it's going to be pretty hard to beat them in the playoffs. So what did happen? Whose fault is it that the Lakers did not make the playoffs? Now, obviously there are a couple of people that are to blame, and if you follow my show on a regular basis, then you know I'm not the greatest fan of LeBron James. I respect him as a basketball player, but I always have a hard time when it comes to the GOAT conversation because to me, he does not belong in that conversation. He belongs in the conversation of one of the greatest, but not the greatest. And this season to me, and I covered that in a recent episode, exposed LeBron James a little bit to me. And the reason why I'm saying this is, for the past couple of years, LeBron James always had a supporting cast like no other. Always not only future Hall of Famers, but some of the best players in the league. And this season, while Anthony Davis got hurt pretty often and was missing plenty of games, and Russell Westbrook was struggling, LeBron James had the opportunity to prove that he's making his teammates better. And what happened, his team is far below 500. And this to me, and even being a Michael Jordan fan, hardcore Michael Jordan fan, if LeBron James would have carried his team to the NBA Finals this time with the issues that the team has, I would have said, okay, LeBron, respect for what you did just now. You proved me wrong. You are making your teammates better. But if you take a look at what the Lakers have done this season, it was not only chaos. This has nothing to do with basketball. It was like not only friction on court, but I mean, LeBron has sensational stats and so on, but his teammates are not playing well. He's not making them any better. If he would have made his teammates better, they would have been at least a 500 team. And correct me if I'm wrong, but those kind of numbers, and I wish I still would have had the clip. I think Charles Barkley said it. There are some players that he considered studio gangsters. And what he means by that is guys that put up sensational numbers, but their team sucks. And that is the reason why they have those great numbers, because they're getting the majority of shots. They're getting the majority of rebounds because nobody is jumping for the ball and so on. And those stats that LeBron James is putting up right now, sorry, but if you're not winning, those stats mean nothing to me. And I want to give you an example because I know the majority of you guys are old school fans. If you remember Alex English was one of the greatest offensive players in the 1980s. I think he's the all-time leading scorer in the 1980s for the Denver Nuggets. The guy scored way more than 20-something thousand points. But he was not successful. He was not successful with the Nuggets. He didn't make the finals. He didn't win a championship and so on. And even though he was a sensational scorer, he's not a top 50 player of all time. He's not a top 75 player of all time. And I'm pretty sure he was not even mentioned because of that. Why? Because his team did not win. He had sensational stats, but his teams did not win. So LeBron James, to me, is doing the same right now, putting up great numbers, but yeah, your team is not winning. So LeBron James, to me, got exposed this season, but that I covered in the recent episode. So talking about LeBron James's influence on the team as a GM, so to speak. He is part of the reason why the team is built the way it is. And when they signed Russell Westbrook, I was 100% sure that this is going to be a bad pick. And I'm not saying that Russell Westbrook is a bad player, but I was 100% sure that because he was relying so much on his athleticism and he's getting older, that he will have a hard time to perform on the same level as he did in the past. So if LeBron James would have agreed to sign DeMar DeRozan or some other players that are more relying on basketball IQ and smart plays and so on, I think that would have been definitely the better choice for LeBron and the Lakers. So I will blend in some clips at the end where they go more, or where we have some NBA analysts that go more into detail what LeBron did wrong in terms of the GM part. So then the next part, the coaching was terrible this season. And yes, Frank Vogel won a championship with the Lakers in the bubble. But forever, I will say that the championship in the bubble has not the same value as a normal championship. It just has not the same value. So, yes, you won the championship, Frank, but sorry, it's not the same as having an 82 games full season, everybody getting prepared and everybody playing their A game. So, to me, Frank Vogel still had to prove a lot. But yeah, as we can see, the team chemistry was off. The Lakers, to me, didn't play any good team basketball. It was a lot of isolation and bad transition shots. A lot of Russell Westbrook's shots as well. Just did not work. And I'm 100% sure that the Lakers will not re-sign him. Who else? Yeah, obviously Russell Westbrook had a terrible season, and his career is over. And I'm not saying that he won't be a player that can contribute like 15 points per game in the next 2 seasons, but his time as one of the best players in the league, that time is behind. So any of you younger guys who's watching the show, work on your fundamentals. Don't rely on your athleticism. One day this will come to haunt you. So, am I disappointed with the Lakers? Yes, to me, this is one of the biggest disappointments in NBA history. Such a team with so many future Hall of Famers, this is an embarrassment. And I'm very, very, very disappointed that even though the Lakers had 82 games, that they did not figure it out to play as a team.
So here's our first question of the night. Stephen A. Smith, if this team had been healthy, where would they be right now?
I think they would be a 500 team battling for a 7th or 8th slot in the Western Conference, and they'd still be destined to go home in the first round. Let's just get this out of the way, please. The Lakers are a national basketball atrocity. Let's just call it what it is. They're an atrocity, and it starts from the top down. It starts from Jeannie Buss allowing Linda Rambis to have power. It goes from there and disintegrates down to Rob Pelinka, who feels that as long as you're wearing the purple and gold and you're a Laker, you'll be just fine. It sifts further down to Frank Vogel, who lost the team because they stopped listening to him a long time ago. And in the middle of all of it is the culpability on the shoulders of LeBron James. Not LeBron James the player, because LeBron James the player has balled out. LeBron James, the GM. And the reason that I say that as a pseudo de facto GM is because you could have had Ty Lue as your coach, but you caved into management when they wanted you to keep Jason Kidd. You could have had somebody else like a Jason Kidd, but you did it. You wanted him on your bench, but you were afraid to let him be the head coach. You settled for Frank Vogel, let Jason Kidd go to Dallas, and now he's a coach of the year candidate. Everywhere you turn shows ineptitude, shows inefficiency, shows an embarrassment of arrogance that is undeniable. They are a basketball atrocity, and Anthony Davis can point to all the injuries that he wants to. It's legit, but it doesn't negate the fact you still wouldn't have gone anywhere.